Now this fight happens and his team is basically just feeding, right? And I think this happens a lot. This happens a lot in your games. It's like, okay, I'm like really farmed, but my team is fucking feeding. And I don't know what to do to be able to win this game. Because every time your team is going to die, the game is going to get prolonged. Basically, I have a student who I've been working with for quite some time now. And he currently is winning a lot of his games solely because he farms really well. Like you could say he's farming close to immortal level, even though he's an Archon. And I don't think he will be an Archon for long. He will eventually get out of it. So he recently sent me a game where he said that he had like 1,000 GPM, but he lost the game. Which is pretty interesting, right? Because I talk a lot about how if you learn how to farm, you will win most of your games, right? But we can see here is that if you look at the graphs, at 20 minutes, he's 5,000 gold ahead of everyone else in the game, right? And then at some point, he's like 1,000 GPM, but he lost this game. So now when I look at this game, it just tells me that the net worth wasn't being used properly. So when I went inside the game, I stumbled upon a couple of mistakes, which I've seen a lot. To be very honest, I've seen a lot in a lot of my students, not just in carry, but also on offlane and on mid. So the biggest thing about Dota and being like a good player is that you need to be able to balance out farming and also being impactful in the game. Anyone who's capable of doing that should be able to get immortal fairly easily, right? But with that said, Panflap, who we're going to look at today, currently has like a 70% win rate, even after making these mistakes, right? Like the games that he's losing, it's either because he doesn't have the farm that he usually has, which is like these numbers, or he doesn't know how to use his farm. In some games, it becomes a bit hard. So the thing that I'm going to be focusing on in this class will be to teach you guys how you can use your net worth without actually sacrificing your farm, which I believe is one of the biggest things that you can do. Of course, now that if like the biggest thing is like this is like the second most important aspect of the carry role. The first is being able to consistently get these numbers. The reason why Panflap has, this type of recent game, like you can see he's just fucking winning, is because most of these games, not most of these, all of these games, he has just insane farming numbers. Like these numbers that we're just going to see, right? Like if you look at his last in 20 minutes, these are not Archon numbers. These are not divine numbers. These are not low immortal numbers. These are like very high immortal numbers. So he's farming really well. And this alone is making him win like most of his games. So now, but he's like a bit hungry, right? Obviously, every good player does that. It's like if I can win 70% of my games, there's obviously room for me to win most of my games because any smurf would win 100% of its games in Archon. So if you see this game right now from this perspective, it's like, okay, TA has 10,000 net worth in 18 minutes. She has Blink Deso, and her team is like posturing towards the top side except for Viper. Everyone else is top, so it means that they want to do something at top, right? They're going to take this tower, and then after this point, Panflap is just going to go back and continue his farming, right? But what happens is that when he's farming, a fight happens here. So you see how big of a lead Dire has. Dire has a really big lead, but the problem with this lead is that most of this lead is on TA, and there's also another hero missing, which is Viper here. But Viper's TPing, so it's fine. Now this fight happens, and his team is basically just feeding, right? And I think this happens a lot. This happens a lot in your games. It's like, okay, I'm like really farmed, but my team is fucking feeding. And I don't know what to do to be able to win this game. Because every time your team is going to die, the game is going to get prolonged. If the game gets prolonged, then eventually it's like, obviously Tia is not that good versus Dusa as a matchup. But right now Dusa is very poor, only has like a Dragonlance, while Tia has like 2-3 items. So she's not that strong. So you need to basically end this game before a point comes where these guys can get items. So now the problem is that if you go to, not a problem, but basically an interesting thing. If you look at last hits, he's like 3x the last hits of the Faceless Void, right? And he's almost like 3x the Dusa as well. So it's like he's playing significantly better than them. But the thing is, like, the way lower MMR games work, if the game goes like super late, like for example, this game went to like 1 hour, eventually these guys will somehow get some farm from somewhere. Simply because the game is going really long. Like if you look at the net worth here, Panflap has 42,000, while Dusa has 27,000. But Dusa's 27,000 is like significantly better than TA's 42,000. Simply because this hero is very good versus TA. So now the goal is to end this game further. But every time something like this is going to happen where his team is going to feed, the game is going to get prolonged. Now we're going to see another example very soon. I just want you to look at his movements while he's farming. So he's farming really fast, but one key thing that he's missing is going to be very obvious here. So now you see what's going on at mid. Like if you notice at mid on the minimap, there's like 3 heroes here, and his entire team is also pushing towards that area. But what he's going to do is that he's going to go Torm and take the Torm. So now the problem is his team is going to take a fight again, and maybe some of them will feed. Maybe they won't feed, but they got 2 kills. But the point is, right now his hero is so fucking strong that if he takes any fight, he will just win the game, simply because he's just too far ahead. So how do I identify, right? Like, let's just go back again to that 18-minute example. So how do we fix this? Like, how do I stop my team for just like taking these fights when I don't want to take them, right? That's like the biggest thing to like cover here. It's like, one thing that you need to understand is like the first thing is that when is your hero capable of fighting? So every hero has different timers. So in TA in this case is like if she only has like Deso, not Blink, she's not that good in terms of fighting. Like you need to understand that you need certain things to be able to fight. Like for example, if you're like playing Faceless Void, if you don't have Chrono, your hero is kind of useless and you should not fight because your hero is weak. Same for TA, she has a lot of damage, but she lacks catch and she lacks mobility. But with Blink, both of those things get solved, which makes it that Blink makes me ready to fight. Similarly for Ursa, if Ursa has Blink, the problem of him being kited no longer exists. And same for Juggernaut, if he has Omnisci, he can do that. So first of all, you need to identify whether my hero is capable of fighting. Now that you know that, you want to kind of adjust your game plan and the way you play the map according to how your team is functioning. Like for example, right now, TA is ready to fight. Right? But she's going to play for farm. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't understand is that how do we know where to farm? Like where Panflap is farming right now is not good. The reason why this is not good is because if you look at top, there's a fight happening. So now you must be wondering that, okay, how the fuck would we know where the fight is going to happen? How, like Panflap should be here, not here is what I mean. So how would Panflap know to be here rather than being here? He can't know what's going to happen in the future, right? But there is one way that you can know that that's going to happen. So the way Dota works, especially in lower MMR, is that heroes are going to attract heroes. That's just how it is. Like when you're going to see that half your team is on top lane, enemy team is going to see that and they would want to fight them. This is like your number one clue that something is going to start happening. Like when you see this, right, it's like, okay, there's a lot of heroes and instantly look at what the enemy team is doing. Instantly pushing towards top. You see, Void is also going to TP. They don't know whether this is a good fight to take or whether this is a bad fight to take. Your team doesn't know whether this is good or bad, but they're just going to fight no matter what. But in this case, the TA is so strong that if she does not participate in this fight, his team is going to feed. So she needs to participate in this fight no matter what happens. So that's like your number one clue is that, okay, if my team is suddenly gathering up somewhere, I should expect that there's a fight going to happen somewhere. Let's just say if TA was playing bottom side instead of this Viper, then all she has to do is literally just TP and join this fight. But there's going to be some situations where you can't TP. So let's just say if TA joined this fight, right? You see this fucking Void only has Brown Boots Madness. This guy is nothing. This guy is nothing. This guy is nothing. TA will just kill everyone. And then they don't have to give up 2,000 lead. And just like his team doesn't have to feed. Basically, you have to adjust to whatever the fuck your team is doing. Even though if it's wrong, it's fine. If you're strong enough, you can do that. But obviously, if you had no farm in this situation, let's just say your net worth was also like 6,000, then it's probably best for you to not join the fight because you will not have this blink. The first thing is to make sure that you have the items that allow you to be able to fight. If you don't have that, then there's no point of joining the fights. So now let's just go forward a little bit. Right? Now look at this situation again that we saw. It's like if you look at it, what his team is doing, right? Look, everyone's pushing towards mid. Now in this case, Tormentor is obviously good and you want to take it, but there's like a catch here. It's like if I go for the Tormentor and a fight happens at mid, then it's like my team might just feed again. And you don't want to give these opportunities to the enemy when you're strong. So in reality, what Panflap should be doing at this one is that he should be farming here, right? The thing is like when you go here, you might be thinking that if I go here, I might just like fucking waste my time, but no. You're going to farm this camp, you're going to farm this camp, you're going to farm this camp, and you're going to be just like playing around this fight. You won't be standing here like these guys. You will be farming near it. That's the key. Because you can't TP in this place, right? Because the tower is super back. compared to the last fight where he had a tower here, and even if he was playing anywhere else, he could have just TP'd. So, and if he goes for the Tormentor, he won't have any HP. So if he's like here, they can just fucking wipe these guys, and then take Roche, mid tower, and the game just would completely just fall apart for the enemy. So, but since Panflap is like super far away from his team, something's gonna happen at mid. I don't know whether they win this fight or not, but obviously something's, like, if he's there, they would 100% win this fight. And now it's like, okay, 3 heroes are going to feed, or like 2 heroes are going to feed. And now TA is here, back in time to join this fight, but it's like, we shouldn't be feeding any of these, and we shouldn't be giving them any hope. Now another case is that, okay, now he's going back to farming again, right? Which is like fine. But ideally, you want to farm a bit aggressive when you're strong. Like, the thing is that he's getting the numbers, but these numbers aren't being used. This is like the biggest problem. And I wouldn't say it's exactly his fault, because in high MMR games, let's just say if it was my bracket, then my team will try to avoid fights that are not good for them. Like, for example, that top fight that just happened, there's no grounds for it. Because there's no Wisdom Rune, there's no objective, there's no Roche, there's no point of fighting there. So they would just avoid it. But in your bracket, in the lower brackets, no one is going to do that. This is a problem that I've seen in Legend, in Ancient, in Divine. And the higher up you go, the better it gets. But like right now, it's like, okay, Panflap needs to play for Roche, but he's playing topside, which is not correct. So you should know where you want to be playing. But at this point, it's fine because his team's not doing anything in terms of fighting. Like, you don't think that there's going to be a fight anytime soon, because Ori is mid, Viper's bottom, Viper can join, but there's no grouping up happening. So it's fine for him to farm right now. But eventually you're going to see that, okay, at some point, now you see his team is totally pushing towards mid. Now, a lot of people, what they would do is that they would just TP mid and be like, and just like stand here and waste their time. What Panflap needs to do is that he should keep his farm up, right? He should maintain how he's farming, right? His numbers are insane, right? He should keep up with his farm, but he should farm towards the mid side so that in case a fight happens, he can be there and he can help his team. But he's not going to do that, right? He's not going to do that, and this is like the #1 mistake. It's like, yeah, his team is trying to fight this and they're diving here, and if for any reason they get chronoed here or anything, then Panflap won't be able to join this fight. So this is like a very, very major problem that I see a lot. And this is going to make you lose games. Like, you see this? Now Panflap is here, but Odie's already dead. Why the fuck is already dead? Like, he should not be dead, right? If TA is here, then this fight is like a bit different. Now they're going to take Roche. They're going to get Roche. A lot of things are going to happen. But realistically speaking, this game should be over by 30 minutes given how far ahead he is. But these small engagements where he's not present is what's giving the enemy some room to come back, which is what we need to stop. And it's crucial that we stop that. Okay, now he's playing a bit aggressive with the Aegis, which is good. And they're killing people. You see, like, every time he's close with his team, none of his teammates have to die. And everything is just, like, chill. So it's, like, really hard for the enemy to fight. Like, you see, they go on him here, but he's just, like, one-tapping everyone. Chrono wasted, he has Aegis. It doesn't even fucking matter, right? And in a different scenario, you might be thinking that, okay, he has Aegis right now, so he can tank these spells, so he won't die. But let's just say if he didn't have Aegis, then how would you approach these fights? This is a very big question that he also asked me, is that he's just scared of taking these fights and throwing the game. It's a very simple solution. Every fight that you're going to take, you're going to be the last person there. You're not going to be the first person. Like I said, that if your team is like standing mid as 4, you don't want to be there with them. You're just going to be standing close to them. So if a fight happens, you can join and just like clean up. Similar to how you would TP and clean up. So in this case, he's standing front, so he's the center of focus. But when he's like joining last, this chrono, these spells, they're going to be used on someone else. So basically just bait your team when you know that you're the strongest guy there, and then you're just going to clean everyone up. Okay, let's just go forward. Okay, now I'm going to skip a bit. Basically, I think the game should be over by this point, but it isn't, because Dusa now has like a Manta. Before he only had 1 item. Eventually Dusa's going to get a lot of other items as well. Look at how fast this Void is going to die. 2 hit. That's how strong the TA is right now. Right, and this is how strong TA was before as well. They're going to take Roche now. They're going to get Aegis, right? And now they can just like try to high ground or something. But what's going to happen is like shortly after that, you're going to see that eventually Panflap feels the pressure of the side lanes. Like you see this and this. And he's just going to, like, realistically, he should go back here because enemies respawning and the side waves are like pushed. So that's what he's going to do, right? But the problem here is that you don't know what your team is going to fucking do. Even though it's the right move to go bottom and push it out, but you don't know what your team is going to do. He's going to TP bottom, right? He's going to TP bottom at this point, and then his team is going to fight here, 4v5, and they're just going to fucking feed again. Now, if PainFlip was there, this fight would be really easy. They would probably wipe all of them, and then they could end the game, and the game would end, right? But since he's not here, this fight is fucked. Now, there's like 2 things that he can do here, which can change a lot of what's going on. So, remember, guys, whenever you see this situation, it's like, okay, these waves are pushing. You don't want to go all the way back, because if you TP like he did, your team's going to feed at mid. So what you want to do is, you want to cut the waves from the root. Like, if you keep cutting the wave from this position, you don't have to go all the way back. You can play here, which is near your team. If a fight starts, you can just go there. So you should just keep cutting the wave from here instead of going back. Or, if you do go back all the way like this, right, he's going to TP. It's like, after pushing this wave, when you see the situation, run to your team. Instantly run to wherever the fuck this is happening. But what you're going to see PainFlip do is he's going to go top, because he's not even paying attention to what's going on. This is another very common mistake. When you get into the habit of just like farming, you just forget about whatever the fuck's happening in the rest of the game. So what you're going to notice is that, let's just go backwards a bit. This is another thing, is that when you're going to watch PainFlip push this tower, the first example, look at his camera movement. Right, there's a fight going on and he's not even looking. He's not even looking at what's going on. Now he does, but he kind of has no information. And throughout the game, he does the same thing. He's not watching. Like, when you're hitting creeps, you actually have nothing else to do. So you need to watch a lot. You need to watch spells. You need to watch how your team is going and everything like that. And now let's just see the other example where he went back, right? Let's see if he's looking at what's going on there. Because it's interesting, because most of Dota is... let's just say most of Dota is information gathering. Like, he's going to TP bottom. This is his perspective. And he's not looking at what's happening at mid. You see, he's just going top. He's not looking at all. This is the mistake. You need to look. If you look, you'll see. If you see, then you'll have an idea. It's like, okay, Chrono is used. Deuce ult is used. Shaker ult is used. But he doesn't know that, simply because he's not watching. He can literally go here and bitch slap all of them and just like solo carry this game. Right now, he can just do that. But he's just going to dip, because he has no information, right? So this is like the biggest mistake, is that you have the net worth, but you're not using it. And the reason why you're not using it, then it's just bad. But what if there is no farm near the team, like the other cores are taking it? The thing is, if your cores are just farming, then they're not gathering to fight. In all of these examples, they are gathering in front of a fucking lane, or a tower, or here. They're not farming jungle. They're in front of lanes. So this question about whether there's going to be farm there or not, it doesn't exist, because they're simply not farming. Whenever they're going to like jumble up, like basically group up, it's because they want to fight, not because they want to farm. When they're going to be farming, they're not going to be together. That's not going to happen. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay, here's another example. Look at where TA is, and look at where the rest of the team is. So the rest of the team is kind of grouping up on the bottom side, right? As you can see. Look at what TA is doing. TA is playing on the opposite side. And now a fight is going to happen on the bottom side, where they're going to use literally everything, and his team's going to feed again. So this is like a common theme that you're seeing, that TA is not there, team fucking dies, and the game's hard. But if TA was there, these fights would be really easy, and TA would end this game in 30 minutes. But none of those things happen. If you want my help in improving your gameplay or mentality, I offer coaching services that can help you, as they have for other students. I have a package called the Immortal package that offers unlimited coaching till you get the Immortal rank. I've also introduced a newer package that offers unlimited coaching till you hit 10k MMR. For the next 48 hours, I'm opening one slot at a discounted rate. If you're interested, check out my website at PainDota.com or join my Discord linked in the description before the slot runs out. This video is from Dota Academy, where I do a lot of exclusive content such as hero guides, smurf lobbies, pro analysis, and student replay reviews. It's currently on a discount for the next 3 days. If you're interested, check out the link in the description.